If your Airbnb bookings have fallen off the cliff, you need to watch this video because you're not alone. All over the country, hosts just like you, their calendars are empty where last year they were full. All of a sudden, bookings have evaporated overnight. In this video, I'm going to help you get under your own dashboard to find out what's going wrong in your market so you can make the right changes to fix it. Because all of you can get bookings, we just need to know where to find them. My name's Sean Rocky. I've been a coach for over 8 years and my students have made over $1 billion. And let's make you some in this video. Let's jump in. Welcome back, Airbnb family. I want you to open up a computer because we're going to go inside of your Insights tab to learn how to diagnose the problem that is in your market. And now this camera angle is just to let you know, if you want to be a YouTuber, you can just do it with your phone. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need some good value. But let's get into your computer. Now that your computer's open, I want you to go to your Insights tab. And it's moved recently. You're going to find it next to your profile photo on the top right. You're going to see a sandwich menu. Click on that. Then you'll see two boxes. One on the left shows your income. One on the right shows the Insights tab. Click on that. And that's going to open up charts that can show us how we're doing over time, measured against 2 periods of time, now versus earlier, or we can measure our performance against our competition. That is what we would like to do, and we can go back up to a year now since they changed the Insights tab. So choose a 1-year date range, and we're going to choose occupancy, and we're also going to do the same thing for views. To find the occupancy chart, you're going to click occupancy and rates, and then the subsection for occupancy. And for views, we're going to click on conversion, and then the subsection for views. The data that we're looking for is to know whether or not our markets are in an uptrend for views and occupancy, if they're in a downtrend for views and occupancy, and if we are moving with our competition in the same direction. Because if our listing is losing views or losing occupancy, but our market is not, what that tells us is our listing is specifically suffering and the market is okay. But if the entire market is losing occupancy, if the entire market is losing views, that means that everyone is suffering. And our plan to solve our problem will change, whether it's an individual listing issue or whether it's a market-wide issue. I think now's the time to like the video, please, and I'm going to teach you how to solve your problem in both scenarios. So let's imagine that it's scenario 1. Your entire market's on fire. It's not just you. There could be multiple reasons. It could be economic, it could be political. First, let's address the politics. We have seen that in some markets, they're relying on Canadian travel, European or Mexican travel, and because of the political environment, people are choosing not to come to the United States. I have a new student in Belize, and she has a co-host company of going on 100 listings now. And Canada issued a travel advisory warning for Belize City, causing people not to travel to Belize. Everyone is suffering because it's just not safe to be there, according to a government. And in her case, because she has enough properties and enough at stake, we decided to come up with an ad campaign using social media, geofence targeting people in nearby countries in the Yucatan who are already on vacation, trying to convince them to come to Belize. We also have a couple other guerrilla marketing strategies that I gave to her to try to target mainland Belize people because her properties are on an island or on a peninsula. She has the money to spend with her investors, so we're taking a couple of risks. In your case, you might just have one property that's failing. We're going to have to do something else. And in your case, nothing can beat good old-fashioned distribution. The reason why is some things that we can do today to get bookings will take time to ramp up. For example, if you called ALE Solutions or all these insurance relocation companies, it would take them time to find somebody to put in your house and then pay you for them. Insurance relocation is a great way to make money, but it's not a fast way to make money. But if you're on Vrbo and Booking.com and Marriott Homes and Villas and Bring Fido and have your own direct booking website that's registered in Google Business so people can find you in Google Map View when they're looking for a hotel, all of these forms of distribution can give somebody who has an immediate need to search and find you today. This is most important if you have empty inventory today, because you may know that just dropping your prices won't work at one point. And that means that also, if the whole market is getting crushed, we need to take a proactive approach to price, because if there are some travelers, we need those travelers. We need to win the few that are in the market, which means we have to fight a little dirty. So quickly, let's talk a price plan, something you can implement right now. Today, yes, you might need to gut your price. For today and next week, you might need to get really creative about where you are, including places like Facebook Marketplace, God forbid. But over the next 3 to 5 weeks, I want you to make a wish list of all of your most relevant competitors. As if you're a traveler, go on Airbnb and look for your best competition. Maybe not the best if your property is mid because they're far above you, but your best relevant competition, and make a list of 20 or 40 listings. I want you to use this as a heat map to be able to identify demand and how your competitors are adjusting to the current market. If you make this list of 20 or 40 listings, and then you hit wish list and open up your market in that wish list, you can then search dates and see which listings are booked, and you can see how much the ones that are not booked are priced for. You can then also see those sorted on the left side into visually booked and visually available. You can see their hero photos, their prices, all sorts of stuff. What's really cool about this map view is you can start to see if a certain side of town is getting booked before the other one. You can start to see if certain price points are getting booked before other ones, and you can see if certain hero photos are getting booked before other ones. This allows you in the next 3 to 5 weeks to make key adjustments to become more attractive based on what your competition is doing. You can also identify which properties that you can beat easily so you can make sure that your prices are similar to theirs so you absolutely get booked. But you can identify the listings that will beat you, so you have to get far enough below their price to win preference again on price. We would like to not have to compete on price, but if you're not the very best listing in a market, you're going to have to compete on price when there's only 1 or 2 customers that are going to book. And if there's 20 listings, you need to make sure that you've done this math to know where exactly you should land in the pecking order of price to win that preference. Now, beyond 4 weeks, beyond 5 weeks, what we want to do is proactively create a pricing plan that focuses on longer length of stay if the entire market's down. The reason why is if you're only going to get 4 customers and your competitor is only going to get 4 customers, you want him to get the customers that book 2 nights and you want to get the ones that book 10. Because you can get 40 nights of occupancy and 4 guests and he only gets 8, you will absolutely make more money. A lot of hosts do not have a slow season plan that changes their weekly and monthly prices. They just drop their rates. And actually, I think you should not drop your rates in slow season. I think you should instead change your length of stay discounts. Because if you dropped your rates to something small and then you had a 2-day stay for a weekend, not only did you make less money on that weekend stay, but now you can't get a monthly or multi-week stay. Your calendar is compromised. If you start to think this way and deviate and try to get total occupancy before you get your revenue in times where there's not enough customers, you'll wake up to having more revenue than your competition on the back end. If you combine this with more distribution and looking at what hero photos are tracking in your market and looking at what amenities are popular in your market and just staying in the heat, you will beat your competition. Now, I do have a little bit of bad news before the good news, which is it's going to suck. If the market is down, there will only be so much that we can do within the bounds of time and creativity to get action on our listing. We may have a half-empty calendar if it's bad enough. If you completely rely on Canada and the economy is down and people are somehow mad at your county or your city for some stupid reason and everything is falling apart, you might have an empty calendar, no matter what you do. So you might have to get a weekly or monthly furnished long-term-ish tenant and really scrap it out yourself. Whatever you can do to get cash in that scenario puts you further ahead than your competition that doesn't adapt or doesn't change. Now, the good news to this is people will absolutely lose if it's that bad. People will absolutely get murdered and they will quit. And at the end of it, there will be less hosts and that's good for you and it will all balance out later because you will make more money on the back end because less supply means you can raise your nightly rate. Everybody will be able to raise their nightly rate. You might even be able to expand and pick up one of your competitors that failed. Take their property, add it to your portfolio, and you win. But let's say that everybody else is making money, and you're not. What do you do about that? Well, we have to have an honest conversation. We have to ask why. Why is somebody else getting all the bookings, and your listing is going down? Well, we have recognized that the algorithm has changed lately, right? And so let's talk about that quick and get to making changes to your listing to get you back on track. Airbnb sent me an email about their algorithm. They confessed that they're focused on reviews more than anything. And not for the sake of Superhost, but for the sake of guest favorites. Airbnb sees hosts with hundreds or thousands of listings and notices that some properties are really great and some properties are bad. But the Superhost badge was propping up bad listings and giving them a boost in the algorithm that Airbnb wanted to stop giving them. So Airbnb has been uncoupling Superhost performance metrics from individual listings and giving that boost to listings that have guest favorites. Now you need at least 5 reviews to win guest favorites. And you have to have no adverse action on your property, which means not only do you have to have the Superhost level 4.8 or 4.85, but you also need to not have given a guest a refund for something related to their stay, like cleanliness, or trip-related issue. Airbnb is looking at resolutions and refunds as part of guest favorites. Now, this may take time to fix, my friends. You will absolutely need to continue to move forward and do a good job wherever possible. If you're down in the dumps right now, the only thing that you can do, according to Airbnb, is to compete on price. Airbnb's total metric weighs heavily the price of your home versus your competition based on who they think your competition is, which is still kind of a funky part of the algorithm, and then of course based on your satisfactory metrics. They want to look at your most recent performance to decide if you're a good host. Drop your price for the next 5 days, try to get a couple reservations, and then change your ways. Whatever it is that's causing you to get bad reviews, trying to automate your messages, or not picking up the phone when they call you, or not proactively texting them stuff and them having to dog you for information, whatever you're doing wrong, stop it. And that will be the beginning of a change. But that aside, customer service aside, your listing may be a bit ugly. I hate to say it, but many listings are getting old. They need an upgrade. They need new furniture. They need a new coat of paint. They need better photography. And not professional real estate photography per se, but photos that make the place look three-dimensional and fun. Not literal three-dimensional photos, but photos that show the personality of a space. People want experience more than ever, and experience is easy to get to some degree. So start focusing on that. And amenities are next. Remember how I told you to make a wish list earlier? Well, go back and watch that if you skipped ahead. If you can look at your 20 or 40 most relevant competitors and look at what amenities that they have, and then look to see which of your competitors are getting booked first. To do this, you just simply search 3 or 4 months into the future, and you're going to notice that the same 3 listings are always booked 3 months in advance, and everybody else has to wait. If you notice that, ask what these 3 listings have. What amenities do they have? Is it their furniture and layout? Is it their size? Try to look for that X factor of your best competitors, and then add those things. And then re-photograph your home, but do a good job. And if you have a hard time doing a good job with photographs, maybe it's just outside of your budget, use my new company, the B&B Photo Factory. I'll take your photos, make them professional Airbnb level photos, and you can just use your iPhone. I'll even walk you through how to take the photos step by step, and you'll have professional grade photos. Secret, I've been using these photos on all of my listings for the last 2 months, and people are loving them. So the B&B Photo Factory works, I'm using it for me, and you should use it yourself too. I said something controversial to a student that I want to share with you. If you have bad reviews, if that's really what's holding you back, you can call those guests and ask to reconcile with them. If you have a big listing that can make $10,000 a month or more, this is going to be super important that you should be willing to spend money to fix the problem. Smaller listings, you may not have the cash in the bank to get somebody to remove a review. You can't really give them that much money, but you should still try perhaps too. But in the event that somebody spent $4,000 on a reservation and they felt that they were not properly serviced and they left you a 1-star review because they were mad at you, and it's been a couple of months, you can call them and say, hey, I'm really sorry about what happened. I'd like to make it right. I'd like to ask you to take your review down. And if you'd like me to pay you for a portion of your reservation, even though that resolution window has ended, I am totally down to give you some cash right now to make you feel better about your stay. And this is not coercion. According to Airbnb's policies, coercion would be to try to get somebody to leave you a good review for fear of damage. Trying to get somebody to leave you a specific review in exchange for a certain amount of money would also be against Airbnb's terms of service. But now that all the windows are closed and you cannot get them to change their review, you can only get them to consider taking their review down, private business, I think that this is in bounds. It is a little controversial to be willing to pay somebody to take a review down, but if you can make somebody feel better after the fact enough so much that they're willing to take the review down, I think we can call it an inbounds play. And who knows, maybe you don't even have to pay them. If you call them and tell them how much you feel bad about what happened and explain yourself and listen to them, maybe them just venting at you is all they needed to say, you know what, you're right, I overreacted. 1 star was harsh, I'll take it down. We've actually seen that at Cracking Super Roast. But what you'll come to find is everything that I could advise you to do, whether it's to talk to a guest to reconcile, or to update your prices and deviate for slow season, or add amenities that your best competitors have, or change your hero photo to better represent what people like, you should do that anyway. Whether the market's down, whether your listing is down, whether the market's sideways or even up, we need to constantly be changing and improving our product. Because the best listings always win, within reason, because if your market's down and there's not a single guest, nobody's going to win. But we know that that's just a dramatic excuse to complain. It's never that bad. Even in COVID, it wasn't that bad. Let these situations make you stronger and more resourceful. And finally paying attention to what your competitors are doing instead of just keeping this some passive float along investment where your listing slowly does worse and worse until something catches negatively in the algorithm and you just get completely buried out of nowhere. This could have been a slow death that finally hit the last tripwire and Airbnb just put you to the back of the line. We need to fight to get back to the top. If you have no bookings and this is all so confusing and overwhelming and you have not a clue what's wrong with your listing or your market, then talk to my team at Cracking Superhost. I have 7 coaches in the program. We had 2 coaching calls today. Somebody's always available to get on a Zoom with you and walk you through what you need to know to be the best host ever. One of those hosts is me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I think there are a few videos that I have that can make you a better host immediately, depending on what your situation is. If your listing is the one that is suffering, watch this playlist next. If the market is suffering, watch this video next. Thank you so much, and as always, I'll see you on the other side.